Okay, so what I'm going to do is show you in this video. I'm going to open up a file in LaTeX, and I'm going to go to a folder from a paper that was previously formatted, and I'm going to show you some things on that LaTeX folder. Remember last time I showed you some real basic stuff, but the cursor doesn't show up when I record it. So I'll try to highlight the areas that I'm in with the cursor so that you can see where I'm at. I've also reset the recording level here, so it should be giving a better image than the last one gave. That wasn't a big deal in the former video, or I would actually just record it. So to start out with, okay, where did I put it? Okay, it looks like I got to go there. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go over to, I have already opened LaTeX Text Studio, okay? And LaTeX Text Studio, of course, is the program that most of the work is done on for a paper. So if we look over here, I can go to File, or I could go to this, or I could go to the second icon from the left here that says Open under right now. I believe you'll be able to read the Open, but I have it highlighted. It's under the word Edit. That opens up a folder, as does going to File and then going down to Open. So notice that you also have Open Recent. So in mine, you'll notice that right here it says that was recently opened. That's because before I turned this on, I had opened up that folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open that folder. So I've got the cursor on that line that is highlighted right now, and I click on it. And that will actually open up the file. Now what you're seeing right here is the herpetological conservation and biology template. But there's something you need to know about this before we go any further. It's more than one file. So if I go to Open here like this, okay, here I am in the Greenspan's paper that I did this time. You'll see that there are a lot of different folders here. This folder that is highlighted right now that says Greenspan et al. 2015 with syntax, that is a folder that must be present. Okay? Then we have this folder, this text document that says Greenspan et al. 2015, and it says text to the left. It is, and as we follow across the type of document, it says right there, LaTeX document. That document is the file where the actual paper is located. Okay? We'll have a PDF, and this PDF will be the galley. Of course, this folder happens to have two PDFs because I had saved a working copy, and then when it was finalized, I gave it the name galley to send to the authors. That way, if I needed to make if any corrections had to be made on the PDF, I could go back. Now, because this PDF is present, I don't have to worry about printing out a new PDF. So what I have been doing from paper to paper to paper is I have just been, you'll notice this is Bullman et al. Ever since I did Bullman's paper, I have been just renaming all the files in here to a common author's name, in this case Greenspan, and then saving it in their folder. So I will actually post a folder. It'll say Bullman et al. 2015. I don't know if I can. I'll try changing that name. We'll see if it'll change the name and not cause any problems. Great. It'll say something else, and I'll tell you about it later. I just forgot about it until just this moment. So here we have the LaTeX file that has the actual document. That's the one that you actually manipulate. There is also a file called structure. Structure defines all of the code that's inside Greenspan. Do not touch structure. Don't open it. Don't mess with it. Don't do anything to it. Trust me. If you do anything to it, your entire copy of I'll have to email you a new copy of the master document because it'll be messed up. We also have a folder here that says images, and in there are a couple of images for this paper. Okay? Then there is a paper that says figures, and in there are a variety of numbers. In some papers, the author pictures will end up in the figure folder. In other papers, they may go in the images folder. It depends on a variety of things that you'll find out about later on. Okay? So, moving on from there. There are an assortment of other folders in here, just like if you have if you've done GIS, you know that GIS has a whole bunch of auxiliary files that go along with the document. LaTeX is the same way. You have the LaTeX folder, the LaTeX document, the structure document, this out document, a text file, this thing here that's called a performance monitor file. This is a BBL file, and this is an auxiliary file. These files all have to be present. All these have to have the same name except for the suffix. Okay? So when you do a new paper, you need to change all these, okay, to the correct one so that the PDF will have the right name and so forth. Now, that's what you'll have in the folder when you initially start. You'll just have a paper you've previously formatted, okay? Literally, that's the way I've been doing it. I haven't gone back to the master document they gave me. Part of the reason is because there's been changes made to this from that original document to account for certain things that weren't understood at the time, and so it's been manipulated a bit by me, okay, out of necessity. So we'll close that back up. Now here we have, at the top of this document, you'll see that it says Herpetological Conservation in Biology, LaTeX template version 1.0. This template was created by this guy right here. This guy did it. Bruce paid him the money out of his pocket. Then there's some article information. Okay, what I'm going to do real quick is I want you to see right now, all we see is a bunch of code, right? Well, that's nice if you're great at this. If you've been doing it for a long time, you may not even care. But I personally like to see the PDF here at the same time. So if you go right up here to the top, you can do this one of two ways. You can go to the LaTeX, I believe, oops, wrong one, I'm sorry. You go to the Tools pull-down menu, and it'll say Build and View or Compile. Okay? Also, across the top, these icons, we have the Build and View and the Compile buttons across the top as well. So if you hit the Compile button, like I'm going to do right now, you click it, it'll start thinking. Okay? It's still thinking. My computer is not exactly working fast. Okay? It does say it's been processed with errors. There are a few errors in this document. They're not important errors. There is an error here that's in pink that says use package AMS-SIMB. Well, what basically is going on here is that package has been added on by me, but for some reason it's not actually being used in this document. However, this is not a major error and you can ignore it, okay? If you can view a PDF, you can usually ignore the errors, okay? And we'll see that in a moment. So if I go here, I believe it's okay. Gotta go to the right place. Okay, Tools, Build and View. Okay, now we wait for it. It's building and viewing. It's doing the same thing it just did in the former one that said Okay. It's doing the same thing. Let me see here. Okay. Edit. Build and view. It's not viewing. Okay. Okay. There it is. Okay. So if it doesn't show the PDF, you go here and you hit this view button. Okay. Also, the F7 key will do that, but I never even use the keys. I always do it using this window. So here is the actual PDF document, what the PDF document will look like. Okay. So if we go across the top here, there are all kinds of codes. The first thing that I am going to do right now is, I'm just going to tell you what these codes are, because I'm not going to save any of this stuff because I don't want to alter this document. But I want to show you how these things work. So we scroll all the way to the top, okay? And here are some of the things that you will be changing. This first thing says document class, 12.2 side 2 column. You're not going to touch that, but what that's saying is that the main text of this document is in 12 point. It's set up as two different sides of a page, so there's a left side and a right side, and then there are two columns present in the main text. Okay? Then we have these packages. What these packages are allow certain things to happen in the document. Sometimes they're necessary, sometimes they're not. It just depends. But I have several here. A lot of them are for mathematical issues. But none of these you will really be messing with most of the time. Okay? If they do need to be messed with, you'll find out at a later time when you're dealing with it. Okay, so we come down to we scroll down. We're scrolling down. There's all kinds of commands. Now, coming right here, we see a new command, article title, and then inside these brackets, you see the title. That title, of course, occurs at the top of the PDF there. So you need to paste or type the title into this spot. Okay, if you're doing a new paper, you'll copy it out of the Word document and paste it right here. Then, knowing that this has to be italicized, you'll go right over here to the left side of this document. If you see the number 45 on the line numbers, right next to it, there's a box here. It says italics. And if you click that, it will actually put the italics in there. Okay? It'll put the code in, so you don't need to type it. Sometimes, depending on where your cursor is and what you did, it may not actually have the scientific name inside the brackets like it is right now. And if that happens, just cut it and paste it back in there, or drag it into the brackets. Then, just below this, we have a running head. Okay? The running head of this document I wrote up as eastern box turtles and longleaf pines. Okay? Technically, this paper here, because it's longleaf pines, is a common name for a specific kind of tree. It's its proper name. It really should be capitalized. So if I want to capitalize, I just change it. Okay? Also, we notice that turtles was misspelled. So I've replaced that. Now, these have been corrected in the original document, actually, because I did it directly on the PDF because they were very minor errors. And odds are we'll never have to go back into this specific LaTeX document again. But every single paper that is produced, I keep the LaTeX folder for that document in case at some time something happens where we need to produce a new PDF or make some kind of a correction or some other kind of error. Maybe it needs to be retracted or something. Okay, so that's where the running head goes. Okay, the running head, of course, on the top of the page here. Now, you'll notice that it just says Eastern Box Turtles and Longleaf Pines. But if you go over to page 100, at the top of the page, you see that it says Greenspan et al. Eastern Box Turtle and Longleaf Pines. You didn't have to put the author's name in or any of this other stuff. It just changes that little bit, the Eastern Box Turtle and Longleaf Pines. And the reason is that that's in the programming, that this program automatically knows that that needs to be there. So you're not going to have to correct the author name in this on every page because it's already going to be there. You don't have to go to every page and correct the spelling of this because it's just this one line, and that's why a lot of time gets saved in using this. Whereas when we use Word, we had to go through and make corrections through the whole document. Here, there's a lot of stuff that you make one correction and it universally does it. Below that, we see New Command, Volume, and then we have the number 10, okay, in brackets. Now, obviously, we are in Volume 11 right now, so that will be Volume 10, and that number will show up here at the top, in the top of the header where it says Herpetological Conservation and Biology, 10-199. If I change this to 11, and then I go up to the top and I say build and view, okay, gotta wait, it's doing its thing. Look what happened. It now says 11. Okay, so you're able to see exactly what you're doing all the time. You just got to hit that build and view button. So I'm going to change this back to 10 because this is a real document, and then I'll hit the reload and it'll correct it back again in just a moment. Okay, there it is. It has been corrected back. Okay, now scrolling back up. You can do this pretty quick once you get used to it because I'm going real slow just telling you what things are. This is the issue number. This was issue 1 of volume 10, and of course over here on the right you see 1 appears in the parentheses already. Then the starting page of this document will be page 99. So here we will have page 99, and then also down at the bottom of the page we'll have page 99. The date that this was submitted on is right here. This is 24th of October 2014. We scroll up to the top, and of course it's there. And of course the same for the accepted and when it was published. Okay, and each of these are right here. It's very critical that that these comments here stay here because they're coding in for the master document that's that we don't open, that I showed you earlier. Then we have the first author short. See this? And then you type in Greenspan et al. That is what gives you the header to say Greenspan et al. Okay? Coming down, this you may have to add. Okay? We have the authors. If there's if there's 3 authors, we need to have the name of the authors all in place. Here's author 1, and you notice that it says author 1. Then we have author 2 and author 3. These numbers reference to their affiliations, which we'll get to in just a second. So in this case, Sasha Greenspan had two affiliations, 1 and 4. Just below this, you see that we have right here affiliation 1, and you want that number to be the same as up here, and that was her 1 address. Then 4 is down here. That's her other address, really her corresponding author contacting information. Then Erin Condon, she is 2, and her address is right here. Now let's say we had a 4th author. Well, all we would do is, in fact, this here says 5 and should say 4. Just correct it there. That doesn't really make a big deal. Didn't make a big issue here, but it's another one of those things that I had to correct. I just corrected in the PDF. Okay. If we needed to add another author, just copy this whole thing, paste it right over here, change this number to a 5, change this number to a 5, and you have the fifth affiliation. If you had to add an author, you just copy this here, paste it just below, and change the number 3 to a 4 and the number 3 to a 4, and you'll have in this location right here /author bracket 4 bracket, and then you'll have the author in those brackets, and then you'll have the % space author 4. And that's all you've got to do. That's one of the places where you may have to add some code. But as you can see, this isn't like rocket science. It's pretty darn easy. Coming down here, we hit the copyright footer, and we know that at the bottom of the page, there is always a copyright statement. Sometimes, if it's a federal employee, the copyright it may just say that it's there isn't a copyright, that this is a part of the public trust. But most of the time, it'll say a name. I always give the first author the copyright unless the authors indicate it should be somewhere else, unless someone else should have it. Okay, and so all you will do in here is you'll change the name to the correct person, and you'll change the year to the correct year. Like now we're in 2016, so this will be 2016. Sometimes when the name is extra long, you'll want to add these 2 little spaces between the name and all rights reserved, and that will put the all rights reserved in the next line. If it's a short name and it doesn't overlap the page number, then you can just leave this out. I actually leave it in all the time, and you can do that. It won't make any difference. Okay? At this point, when you've reached this point, you've actually done the headers, the title, all the author information in here, their affiliations, and you've done this, the copyright, and the page number. All of that is done in this area right up here that we just covered. The next thing that'll happen is you'll hit Begin Document. This is where you insert the abstracting keywords. The abstract, as you come down here, you'll see it'll say 2 columns, make title, set counter. All this stuff is stuff you don't touch. Right here it'll say Begin 1 column abstract. You just paste the abstract in, insert italics around any words that need italics, and bolds, or you might have special characters in here, like here. This is a special character that we deal with. I'm not telling you about that right now. And that's where you'll be. And at that point, you'll come down to the bottom here. Here's keywords. And in this document, you just put the keywords in. You put them in alphabetical order, separated by semicolons within the brackets. At this point, I'm going to stop. The next video, we will look at the actual parts of the full document, and Then I'll follow that with a video where we're actually doing it, and then some little intricate details. I'll actually get one of our documents for the next issue, and I'll sit down and I'll go through it. So I'm doing a paper, and you'll get to watch me do it, and I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing in each step. So at this point, I'm ending this little audio, and you'll be able to listen to the next one.